See you, Jimmy. What you doing with my demon hunter, laddie? So we got StJimmy playing as the demon hunter. Seems that the demon hunter is always spawning at the bottom of this map. And good old ChairFriend. I don't know why, but whenever I see this guy's name, I always want to say ChairFiend. Never ChairFriend. ChairFriend. Just say ChairFriend. ChairFriend. It just feels wrong. It's a horrible word to say. ChairFriend, why can't you just be a ChairFiend? Why? Anyway, it's going to be playing as Force Commander. I'm loving ChairFriend's opening choices here for his capping order. Loving it, big man. You send the scouts over to the contested VP here because unlike the Force Commander, they can actually make use of the garrison. I mean, Force Commander can hide in there from IST, but obviously the IST can outrange his pistol, so they just stand far enough back, and it will take them forever, but they will eventually kill the Force Commander. IST can't do that to scouts. But you still want to catch this as fast as possible. If you were the Tech Marine, you might send the Tech Marine down here, and you send the scouts here, because this is actually more important, because you can cap it, you want to cap it and then node it ASAP. But he's not the Tech Marine, so he's not going to do that. So he sent the FC, and I like that. But now the FC wants to join up with attacks to prevent the strike squad from dominating. A little bit of a misplay, I think, moving the attacks over here. I assume he wants to get to the garrison, but he's probably overestimating the durability of the attacks. Looks like they might get into it. Yeah, he's going to retreat, doesn't want to risk losing the model. I think that's probably a wise decision. It would have been better, of course, to move the Force Commander back over here sooner. Attacks seem to have got caught down here. They should have probably rotated, so they were literally hugging the Force Commander. Particularly because ChairFriend is opting for a 1 scout build here, not a 2 scout build. So scouts here seem to be running off to get the garrison. We might see an energy burst to slow them down so the strike squad can get a few more melee hits in. No, it appears not. Got a sergeant coming out here for the scouts, nice and fast. Retreat grenade could have been brutal, but not in a decent position for it. Potentially we might see that against IST. We'll see how the IST position themselves. And the Demon Hunter now sees the noded power node over here and is instead just going to rotate and take the VP. Going to be on capping duties for a little bit. You know, these players, they're not playing bad. He knew instantly, he had the same instinct as me. Ah, shit, I can't finish that capper, I'm going to bleed loads of models, get out of there, suck it up. But it's sad, because he was like 70% capped. Not bad, StJimmy, not bad.
We are losing a requisition point to the enemy.
So, it's going to be Purgation Squad next for StJimmy. And ASM for ChairFriend. Well, that certainly puts ChairFriend's composition into a superior spot, doesn't it? Especially if we see a power sword coming out of the Force Commander, which would probably be smart. Really help his ASM dominate the scrap against the strike squad, who will likely counter-initiate when the ASM jump the Purg squad. But ChairFriend needs to be careful here. This first push with the Purgations onto his gen farm could end up in a wipe if he doesn't position himself correctly. So he attempts a bit of a... oh, I don't know what that was. I thought that was trying to bait the strike squad to melee the tax, and you throw the grenade just in front of the tax and then pull the tax back at last minute. But it wasn't, because he threw the grenade at the totally wrong spot. Maybe that was the intention, I'm not sure. StJimmy being a bit weird here. He actually pulls back his strike squad loads. Obviously he's trying to wait for the purgation, but... yeah, I mean, the strike squad just takes so much damage in the meantime. Now we've got that battle cry from the Force Commander, so the tax and the ASM are getting damage boosts every single time. The strike squad don't have the durability, the purgation are being forced off. This is just a horrendous engagement. It needs to get out of there. IST probably moving down to try and take the garrison. That'll be somewhat helpful. I mean, ChairFriend's not going to go for the bash. Doesn't actually have any anti-garrison here. Would have been viable if he had a flamer, but he doesn't. Now I'm noticing that ChairFriend only has 1 gen on his gen farm here. He does have that contested power node though, which is very handy. I'm curious what he's waiting for here. Why isn't he getting another unit? Why does he have such a small tier 1? If you're rushing tier 2, why haven't you built additional gens? I mean, honestly, at this point, real talk, you could actually go for second ASM. I'm not even joking, like, that could be quite legit right now, the way his economy is structured. It's very weird. That's because he's ended up floating so much wreck without getting these 2 gens, so he's ended up with a very weird economy that actually makes 2 ASM quite optimal. But it looks like he just wants to ride it out straight into tier 2. I don't like that. He's doing really well here. We can see that on the map control. He is forced off a little bit here, so StJimmy will have an opportunity to start capping. But I really think that ChairFriend probably could have just ended this game by going second ASM now, getting a Flamer, and just doing a massive timing push down here. And, you know, Force Commander should have been in position to stop these perks. He's been... well, he's not full HP, but he's been close enough for a while. It's okay though, he's still in a good spot. He's going his tier 2. Yeah, I don't like these grenades here from ChairFriend. He's doing a lot of just completely telegraphed, open, just grenades in the middle of the open. Like, his opponent would have to be really bad for that to work. And the thing is, you might be playing against someone who's really bad, but I think you should still be doing plays that work against more effective players, even if it would help you win that matchup, because it's just poor practice. FC actually putting in quite a nice amount of work here. Not a lot of kills, but certainly being a nuisance. Okay, well, StJimmy is now going tier 2. ChairFriend obviously is going to get there a lot sooner. Bagation coming back out to bash again. ASM going to rotate to try and stop them. That will be a lot more effective than the scouts. Not really seen anything out of the Demon Hunter so far. He appears to have basically just been used for capping. Be curious to see what both these players opt for in tier 2. So nearly got the power for a Razorback, only 5 or so off right now. And honestly, ChairFriend is kind of dominating the map control once again. Purgation, 3 models and 170 HP. Suffice to say, they're going to be healing in base for quite some time. He rushed a plasma gun. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's not a terrible idea, because I always say never go vehicle first against Auto Malleus, and that's because they can obviously counter it very easily by just going for a last cannon Rhino. But what's strange here for ChairFriend is that he opted for such a fast tier 2 and getting that by doing a really light tier 1. So to then get Tactical Marines and a Plasma Gun just feels wrong. And I think it adds even more weight to why actually going for a heavier tier 1 probably would have been better. Because you don't even get much of an advantage from going for a fast tier 2 against Auto Malleus. Auto Malleus and IG, I think, are the 2 factions where going for a fast tier 2 and getting a vehicle out immediately usually backfires. Not always. If you're ahead enough, then, you know, you'll still be able to get the damage in before the last cannon Rhino comes out. Decent little near spike there. Not perfect, but decent. A bit weird that the scouts didn't just rush straight for the garrison. They probably could have. And as fast as they are with their kiting, yeah, Stormbolters are the problem. Anyway, it's going to be a Rhino. It's been turned into a Razorback, so given the heavy bolter, and with that option there, you can basically now go for your vehicle as the Space Marines. Of course, you want AV as well. But he does have double tax, so one of them could get a miss. Okay, now this is weird. He's just going to go tier 3, really? That is not a good idea, I don't think. You have no AV right now. This Razorback could just drive it to your gen farm and cause a whole lot of trouble. That said, the IST here, okay, they're getting this. They've got their sergeants. Should really be nading. I was going to say they won't do tremendously well against the Tactical Marines here, but the Tacs for some reason are stood completely out in the open, which was very strange. I don't know why he didn't grenade these Tacs either. And the Tacs were just focusing on the gens, so, I mean, ChairFriend gets the triple gens, but yeah, as I say, this Razorback needs to come over here, support this push, help the Pergs, and finish the gem bash. ChairFriend might be in a bit of a dodgy situation since he has no actual proper AV. Very strange to not see a Justicar here from StJimmy on the strike squad. He's got crazy amounts of power. The strike squad Justicar is an absolute no-brainer. It's amongst the best squad leaders in the entire game. Not only does he himself have a little bit more HP than a normal strike squad model, he has a power melee weapon instead of a normal melee weapon. Great against ASM and Tactical Space Marines, but the most important thing is he gives a buff to the entire squad, just like the Slugger Knob does for Slugger Boys, that increases the HP of every model, including himself. So it makes the Strike Squad so much better as a squad, because they all become way more tanky. So StJimmy should definitely have that. Once again, the Demon Hunter has basically just been running around as a capping unit the entire time. They're really doubling down on that, getting the Blessed Icon accessory here to improve his movement speed at the cost of damage. ASM coming in pretty hard here, did get their Melter Bomb off. We're seeing some Vengeance round Sternguard trying to finish off the Razorback, but they are going to be suppressed by the Purgation Squad, who are trying to stay in play here to control the Force Commander, but it's very tough for them because Plasma Guns are focusing them down, and that is going to be one of the models killed. Now, are the Sternguard even shooting at the Razorback right now? I'm not sure. Well, they are now. Not killing it though. A Force Commander needs to be very careful. Oh! He's got the Terminator Force Commander armor. Fair enough, yeah. That's actually pretty decent. I mean, he did lose his power, as we could expect, but ChairFriend... Oh my god, I want to call him ChairFriend again. I can't do it! I don't know what it is! I just always want to say ChairFriend, and then I start thinking about it, and then I say... other things. He's a sneaky boy, is Mr. ChairFriend. He has been building power over here in this corner for quite some time, had this one gen up, so that is sustaining his economy reasonably well. Sternguard here going to take a bit of cover, use their Hellfire rounds. They will trade extremely effectively against these IST whilst they don't have their plasma guns. Right now the Sternguard not using cover very effectively, but even then, you can see how effective they are. I mean, these are fully upgraded IST. They've got their Acolyte in addition to their Sergeant, so they've got the damage resistance from the Acolyte. Needs to be really careful, they're going to start losing squad leaders soon. Fortunately for the IST, they are died last. So we don't see the Acolyte or the Sergeant falling there as the models reinforce off the Razorback. But look at that. Full models and they've got that much HP. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. So Assault Cannon Terminator still retains his Power Fist with this kit. So he can teleport in on that Razorback, certainly after it's been hit by a Melter Bomb. And should be pretty easy to kill it with Force Melee. What is StJimmy going to do against this? He does have a Force Glaive now in his Demon Hunter, a bit of extra power melee DPS, a bit of extra control. But I think StJimmy allowing these generators to stay up for all this time is probably his biggest error here. I don't even know if he's seen it. He must have, surely. Surely. Can't beat a good cup of tea. Another near spike. Yeah. Did that kill a model? No, he was already dead, right? Again, no Justicar. Has he ever got the Justicar? Does StJimmy realize how good that Justicar is? He is insanely good. Honestly, it's like a no-brainer upgrade. It's like not getting the Slugger Knob when you get tier 2 with Slugger Boys. I mean, maybe if you're only using them for repairs, but like, you know, Strike Squad ain't doing no repairing. He's clearly using them for combat. Needs to get that Justicar. Okay, he has noticed. The Purgation are going to be moving down to take out those generators while the IST do a bit of stalling. You can see though the effectiveness of the Sternguard, man, with those Hellfire rounds against the IST. Even with the full upgrades, the IST, you know, they do trade effectively against those Sternguard, but cost effectively. You still lose 1v1. Of course, when there's other attacks around, and my god, certainly with a Assault Cannon Terminator Force Commander, the poor IST have got no chance. And the other thing is, even if the IST win the fight, they will bleed, and the attack Stern Guard shouldn't. So it still ends up economically being a victory for the Space Marines. But StJimmy did what he wanted there. He got the decap, and he should be pretty happy with that. ASM, however, moving in to intercept this Razorback with a Melter Bomb. What? Is that on range? Oh my god, it is. Just in range. I wasn't even sure if that was. That must have been right on the edge. But he lands a beautiful rear armor Melter Bomb here. Now he needs to get the Terminator Force Commander to run into melee. Quite simple strategy here. You send the Stern Guard down here, shoot it, and the Terminator Force Commander walks this way. You can teleport here and melee it, but doesn't matter. It's moving too slow from the snare from the Melter Bomb, and indeed Stern Guard are going to catch it with those Vengeance rounds. Strike Squad were quite adamant to push this part of the map, as you can see. Did manage to capture that power node fully. StJimmy slightly letting down his micro, walking the Strike Squad into the base there. And ChairFriend is going to be taking... No, sorry, not ChairFriend, StJimmy is going to be taking the contested power farm over here, but it's a little bit late, to be fair. I mean, it's still going to help him, of course. But a Predator tank is on the way. And Crusaders are going to be the choice for StJimmy. Now, Crusaders in Tier 3 are very scary. They get this Acolyte leader. Should be called a Ministoran Priest. And he will buff the squad in all kinds of crazy ways, making them faster, making their Bell Frenzy very strong, and he himself is a very scary dude with a heavy melee Eviscerator. Blessed Icon being used here, so for a short while all these OM units will move faster at the cost of doing less damage. Terminator Force Commander will perish. Well, let's see how quickly he will perish to the Crusaders, actually. Crusaders don't do power melee, so the heavy melee of that TFC is going to be relatively effective, but wow, the ASM just got melted right there. Crusaders are dying. I mean, they're getting yeeted around by the special attacks of the Battlecry Force Commander whilst Hellfire rounds weighed in on them. Obviously, they're very buffed up from the Battlecries. But yeah, this is going to be one dead IST squad, you would think, because of the Stern Guard in retreat path. However, they're getting tied up by Strike Squad, so they're actually unable to focus fire the IST, which are currently on 20 HP. Tank is still chasing. Tank misfires its shots, so those IST appear to be able to get out of there. And they shall know no fear has been activated here on the Stern Guard with the supporting fire. That means they will be able to deal with this Strike Squad, who themselves are losing 2 models. A lot of models lost here for StJimmy, and that could honestly be the end of him here, because I think reinforcing all these models is basically going to cost him all of his current resources. Now we do see a conversion beamer having been upgraded on the Purgation. That will be useful in an attempt to counter the Predator, but the Predator's been used fairly well here by ChairFriend. Microed, good. Keep it moving though. He's going to get this generator. He can afford to kill that gem, but needs to keep moving. Isn't doing so, and there is a risk right now of being snared by the beamer. I'm not sure how the beamer didn't manage to trigger a rear armor hit there. That was a bit strange. He didn't activate the ability, so he gets no snare, which means only one shot there on the Predator, who then drives off to meet his scouts and can be repaired by them once they've finished the cap.
Understood.
I bet StJimmy is really kicking himself for going for the Crusaders with a priest when the Predator arrived, but of course he didn't see the Predator when he went for that choice. Probably should have known something like that was coming though. ChairFriend, you know, not really getting anything in Tier 2. Got that TFC a long time ago. Yeah, StJimmy gonna try and put pressure again on this gen farm. Doesn't actually matter that much now. I mean, if we look at things honestly, requisition is starting to become the limiting factor for both players at this stage of the game. But we'll see. Justicar is up now on the Strike Squad. Blessed Icon going to be used once again to get these guys into melee a little bit quicker. Really could do with seeing an Inferno, but it was a little bit late with the Inferno, and unfortunately the Demon Hunter is going to stay a little bit too long. He's going to be falling right now. Strike Squad are committing pretty deep here, trying to get rid of these Stern Guard. The attacks were forced to leave, but the Strike Squad, they need to get out of here, man. Yeah, they're dead. I think they're dead. Okay, they might just get out. Yeah, one model. Crusader's going for a bit of a flank, but I mean, ASM can just jump out, and they should. I don't know where the Predator's going. They should definitely be killing these Crusaders. Why are the ASM not jumping out? This is very strange. ASM, hello? ChairFriend? ChairFriend, are you with me? I guess he's panicking too much, focusing on his Predator tank. Yeah. Psychic Fortress used there on the Crusaders in an attempt, I think, to snipe the TFC. Obviously this ability causes AoE slowdown, as well as energy drain, but, I mean, the energy drain was never going to kick in fast enough to prevent a teleport. Interestingly, I don't even think that used energy to teleport. Yeah, well. I mean, that was a very poor Psychic Fortress. It should have been quite obvious that a teleport was due there for the TFC, but what can you do?
The enemy is claiming a victory point.
I was going to say, ChairFriend shouting out some BMGGs, but he isn't actually, because check out the VPs. No VPs left for StJimmy. He didn't do a bad job, StJimmy, but I mean, the Demon Hunter didn't really achieve anything this game, if I'm being honest with you. He didn't really do anything as a hero, he was just capping unit. But the build was fine until tier 3. I don't think these Crusader choices... I don't think that choice was very good. I don't think it was appropriate at this stage of the game. I mean, you're going to have to get a Warhammer Razorback, which, with the Purgation Beamer, should have been sufficient to deal with the Predator. And the Warhammer Razorback would help a lot against the TFC as well. Its damage type is relatively effective against heavy infantry. But other than that, I actually didn't mind StJimmy's play at all there. It was pretty nice. Actually quite a decent game, this. I don't think I'm going to class this for like a sloppy Saturdays. I feel like this was actually a pretty decent game, considering. Obviously not the highest level players, but a decent game. I liked the strategies. I really liked ChairFriend's opening capping order in this map, and I also really liked when he had his power farm denied here, sneakily building 1 gen here and eventually slowly accumulating a bigger power farm. I think that literally kept him in the game, to be honest. But yeah, there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that one. A little bit of Space Marine versus Ordo Malleus. That is all from your boy STD today. Torpid out.